So friends, the homecoming concert, 1956. And then of course they did another one in 1957. It happened right here. This is Fair Park, Tupelo. You can see the Elvis statue right there. And we don't know exactly where. I'm gonna try to pull some aerials and so we can figure it out, but you can see that the city of Tupelo's town hall is here now, the city hall. They have some apartments and different stuff here.
And what the guy said, he believes it's where City Hall is.
He believes that this was about where City Hall is. But we're also going to deal with some other things that were here. We'll show you later in the video, and we'll talk about maybe even some things that happened this day that I bet you don't know about. This is Elvis and Gladys and Vernon here. That's Elvis with the Welcome Home guitar that is on display at the museum at Graceland. I have video of that. I think I can find it. So this is it. So let's talk about the statue. It was dedicated in August 2012. Its larger-than-life statue depicts the famous photograph known all over the world as the hands. That's Elvis reaching out and touching their hands. Shot by Roger Marchett in 1956 in Tupelo. The Memphis artist Bill Beckham was commissioned to sculpt the statue and is known for his artistry on statues of Mississippi's well-known native sons, including William Faulkner and B.B. King. The statue is placed so the famous photograph can be recreated by fans today. So we're going to go recreate this right here, friends. Stay tuned. How cool is that? And people have dedicated things, bricks down here. Ultra cool. Indeed he was. So there's a story about the difference between September of 56 and September of 57. A lot of you don't know that story, but I'm going to tell it. Stay tuned. All right, so this is designed, friends, so you can recreate this photo, this famous photo, and there's Trey recreating it. And look, he's a lot bigger than Elvis really was. When they say larger than life, his head wasn't that big. That's watermelon big, but that is really cool.
I feel like I'm a hunk of burning love.
And it was made by Mr. Beckham. Really well done, beautiful. And this is where it happened at. Not in this exact spot, but on this plot of land right here is where it happened at in Tupelo.
And I can't wait until you guys see what we have for you next.
That's it. We found something, or I say we found it. A friend of ours knew where it was and he told us. Mr. Stephen Schutz, we have to thank him for this. So let's go take a look. Stay tuned. So friends, let me tell you one more thing. I thought that family that was up there when we first walked up, that was all around the statue, was huge Elvis fans. I asked the son, I said, y'all Elvis fans, son? He said, no, we're doing Pokemon Go. And I was like, are you kidding me? What in the world has the world coming to? Your parents are teaching you about Pokemon Go instead of about Elvis. How about Pokemon Go Away? So the circle to the left, the big one, is where the Fairgrounds, where he played, where the stands were, more or less, the bleachers. The little circle to the right is the birth house. And now keep in mind, they lived at 12 or 13 different places around Tupelo over the years. So you can see that's the birth house, and then it's going to go across back to where the bleachers are. So I'm going to do a comparative thing. I've done an overlay, so check this right here out. That where you see the green X is where the courthouse is. Now you see the bleachers on the bottom left. Courthouse directly in the middle, just a little above. And then below left, you see where those two bleachers are in an L shape. That is a comparison. So it's not where the courthouse is. It's actually behind it. Where the parking lot is, where this red circle is about where that concert happened at, where the bleachers are. So I got a little something else I want to show you right here. Check this out. So friends, a lot of you know that in Tupelo, Mississippi, Elvis played here. It was kind of his homecoming. It was a big deal. 56, 57, he was here, played at the Fairgrounds. And of course, all that's been torn down. The city hall is there now. Basically, that doesn't exist anymore. But something does still exist that's related, and we're really close to it. We're at the Music Trail Nature Park. And it is over here on this side what we're looking for. This is actually a Frisbee park, but somewhere over in this area is something from that place that still exists. So we're gonna find it. Stay tuned. So this is pieces of the bleachers that were at the fairgrounds. That is parts of those bleachers that were there, the I-beams and that kind of stuff. And over here as well.
Wow.
So these pieces were present at those concerts. Here they are.
Look at this, man.
Unbelievable.
What? If they could talk, right?
Yeah, and they had wood across them, of course.
Where's that?
Wow.
That's a whole row.
Man, this is a bunch of it. Look at them. There they are. This is all the bleachers from there.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
Wow.
So, pieces of history still exist, friends.
And we're standing on it.
And we're standing on it. Right here. So if you come into that park, you can see the street right there. You come right down here and go to your left, or come right through there, come to your left, and you'll see them. This is them. Just another piece of that Elvis puzzle, friends. Man, that is ultra cool.
Unreal, man?
It's ultra cool. So there's the bleachers. You can see them in the background. You can see the people up on them, right up in here. And there they are. Ultra, ultra, ultra cool. Just another piece of history, friends. So they're here, friends. If you go through, you see the gray ghost down there. The street is right out there. And I will post what the name of this street is. If you turn to the right, the birth house is down on the left-hand side, not very far from here. In fact, if you're coming from the birth house and you came out from the front and went out to the road, made a right, and go down, you'll see a Veterans Memorial Park on your right-hand side, kind of up on a hill. Past that, you'll see the baseball field. On the left, you'll see this field. So this is Veterans Memorial Boulevard. That is the Tupelo Aquatic Center right there. And this park is called Music Bend Nature Trail. If you go in there, I was parked straight and walk to your left, the bleachers are right over there if you'd like to see them. That's really one of the only things, or the only thing that's left from Elvis's performances at the Fairgrounds 56, 57. Now you know. So let's start here. The first time that he played a show in Tupelo was August 1st, 1955 at the Fairgrounds. Although they herald the 56 version as his homecoming, this was the first time, but he wasn't the headliner where Pierce was. But he got very famous in 56, and that's when he did the homecoming, which is what we're going to talk about, his triumphant return to Tupelo. So friends, September the 26th, 1956, a lot of things had happened that caused them to leave Tupelo. And of course, they were looking for a better life, but they came back triumphant. This was Elvis Presley Day. They had parades. Now, they had these parades every year before the fair, but they had parades including things that were Elvis related in the parades. Floats where people could win prizes and stuff, and they impersonated Elvis. The you notice there's no cars on it. They actually banned cars from this main street so they could have the parade and that kind of stuff. And they had about 50,000 people in attendance to the fair that year in '56. The mayor gave Elvis a key to the city. If you want to see this key, it is on display at Graceland. Right here is some video I took. This is across the street in the new museum, and that is the key to the city that Elvis had in his hand September the 26th, 1956, the actual key. And that's Gladys. Look at the look on Gladys's face. She can't believe it. Vernon can't believe it. They are back in a place where they left kind of in shame almost. Here's the governor of the state giving Elvis a certificate saying he's America's #1 entertainer. Now, keep in mind that Heartbreak Hotel was recorded early January of this same year. This is September. That's how fast he got that famous. And you've got to know that in his mind, he had to be just feeling like he was in a whirlwind. He couldn't believe it. Every day he'd wake up and just go, wow, how's this happening to me? And who hasn't dreamed about going back to their hometown, back to their high school with all their friends and the people that they grew up with, being famous? And who hadn't dreamed of those kinds of things? And Elvis lived it out. And on this day, Tammy Wynette, by the way, 14 years old, was on the front row. I don't have a photo of her, but she was there. And they also did a night show. They did 2 shows on that particular day. And he wore 2 different velvet shirts, this one and that's kind of purple or blue, and then there was a red one. And they were made by the wardrobe department at Warner Brothers, and Natalie Wood had them made. You can see it actually has her name on it right there. This one sold for $45,000. And lastly, we're going to talk about the September 27th, 1957 show where he came back. This one is unique, and I bet a lot of you have never noticed that Scotty Moore and Bill Black didn't play this show. Check this out. So Scotty and Bill were having a dispute, if you will, about how much they were getting paid. So Hank Garland, which played on a lot of Elvis recordings, took Scotty's place. And Hank was what we would call a A-team player, which is a first call player for recording in Nashville. And then on bass, they had a man named Chuck Wigington. And Chuck was actually friends with DJ and Scotty. And in the late 40s, he had played and recorded with Pee Wee King and the Golden West Cowboys. And he was actually a staff player on the Louisiana Hayride. And there is Bitsy Mott and Colonel Tom Parker right there. And we're going to zoom up, and I'm going to show you that DJ Fontana did play the drums. You recognize the cowskin kick drum head right there. So DJ was there. Scotty and Bill were not in 1957 over a labor dispute, more or less, over money. They got filled in by a couple of other guys. Bet you didn't know. And this is Elvis leaving the concert. And, of course, you see he's got the gold lame jacket and all the police. There was about 100 policemen and sheriff's departments that had to help him. And notice Treat Me Nice right there. You see that? That was released 3 days before this concert. That's how fast things were going in those days, friends.